I am Chris Farah, and tonight I'm trying something new. So, this is what's going to happen. I'm so happy you guys are here. If you're just joining me, I am trying out Clubhouse in my life, and I love it so much. And I have been on YouTube, as you also might know, and talking about 90 Day Fiancé. And so I am streaming right now on YouTube, obviously, and also on Clubhouse. So that's what's going to happen. So for the first however long YouTube is going, I won't be able to take any hands or any people on the Clubhouse stage. But after tonight, I can just go in there and talk my life off. But until then, this is episode 15 we just got, and it was called Take Me or Leave Me, which is very like Rent, like take me as I am. And here's the thing, the Take Me or Leave Me was obviously a direct call to action because we're at the end of the rope. It's like day 89. Not for a lot of people, but like for some people. It's interesting how they build the timeline of the show because, for instance, Rebecca and Zayed, we know they have like a month left, right? At least because he is, Ramadan's happening. And then we also know that, we also know that I'm just gonna open this. We we also know that Jovi and Yara at least have another month because Jovi is gonna go away and have like his whole work situation month off, month on. But for instance, Natalie and Mike done. So
Oh, she's
so this is what's happening. I am on I'm on Clubhouse and on YouTube. And so I am just going to be doing a full recap on YouTube until that happens and letting you guys listen on Clubhouse and trying this whole thing out. It's an interesting time. So here are my thoughts. If you want to watch me on YouTube, you're welcome. If you're on Clubhouse and vice versa. So, let's start with Jovi and Yara as we have. So Yara has been going through it, and I get so sad for Yara. And something that happens to Yara that's like universal is the drive to Vegas. Except everything is heightened for Yara because she's pregnant and hates everything. But because she's pregnant and just like in a car with like Jovi, who's like perma drunk. It's like he's chopping, like how someone who be chopping onions all the time and garlic, they always smell like that. Like, can you imagine what Jovi like always smells like? And Yara's just like in it. She's in it. She lives it. Okay, day in and day out that. So she's in this car, honey, and I don't feel like, okay, this is interesting. I feel like I know exactly where they stop because there's a Peggy Sue diner like on the way to Vegas from like California, but it's a different situation. In this Peggy Sue diner situation, I understand it's depressing. So when Yara gets there and she starts having all the feelings, it makes sense because Yara is can't drink again, and she is like, all of this is so foreign looking, like unlike my homeland at all. This sucks. I don't want to even be doing anything for a wedding. Not only am I now doing something for a wedding, but Jovi has invited all of his BS friends. I don't understand how Jovi thinks that's okay. I guess that's like somewhat of a culture situation, but truthfully, how? I think that it's just truly like it's like an only child behavior, and I can say that because I am an only child. So this whole talk that Jovi and Yara have later, where she's like, "Can you get to some sort of empathetic space where you understand where I am at, and you realize you have to think of me and put me before this." So anyway, God bless. So she's not having a fun time at Peggy Sue's diner, honey. He comes in and checks on her. His friends can't wait to go drinking. And I mean, I kind of get it because it's like, why did you guys pick Vegas? If Jovi's whole thing is like drinking is too much, like, and New Orleans is like too much, like, I'm not quite sure why Vegas was the thing, but okay. Yara, however, is happy to see Vegas. And so we're happy to see happy Yara, happy Yara, happy life, like that should be Jovi's like a tattoo that Jovi should get, like as long as he keeps this woman, because truly. So, they get to Vegas and she's like, it's cool here. Like, it makes sense here. Like, I can see it's sort of like the movies, and it's like definitely more interesting to her than New Orleans. And I'm just like, I'm not quite sure. I truly, I love New Orleans. So it's always hurt my soul that Yara hasn't experienced the magic or whatever. And Jovi has like a come to Jesus / Yara moment where he is somewhat opened to the fact that he doesn't think of her. that like in every situation he has made it be like a Jovi party time. And all of his friends know it and treat him accordingly, which is with like no disrespect. I mean, truly lack of it. I mean, he is like Rebecca in that way when everyone around them are just like, oh, every decision that you've ever made is bad, stupid, in fact, dumb, truly dumb. And can't wait for this divorce, like where you're just like, wow, you're saying that to that person's face, like, and to that person's fiance. It's just, it's rude. It's rude. They're on TV, but it's rude. So, by the way, I was in a clubhouse room earlier where someone said that they bought one of Yara's jackets, which made me really, really happy. She loves that jacket, honey, that just sits on her shoulders. She doesn't have to like put her arms through it. That's too much work. It's a poise. It's a pose, honey. I'm so happy you guys are listening. Thank you so much for spending some time. If you are on YouTube and you want to like this video, I would enjoy that. Giving a little thumbs up, thumbs it up. And just being here on this ride. So yeah, I'm really happy for Jovi. I think that he, for him to not drink the first moment of him being in Vegas is an accomplishment. And I'm going to give him that because, I've given him a lot of grief. But as someone who appreciates the first couple of moments in Vegas, it's hard, and I'm not even a drinker. But I remember in my 20s when I used to smoke cigarettes and like, God bless, it's like, if you thought I was in my 20s just now, I love you so much, but whatever. No one's saying that. But if for any reason you thought I was in my 20s at this very moment, like, I don't know, give me like eye contact of a baby, you know what I'm saying? But like, you're just going to be like flattering me and I'll love you for it forever. So anyway, I remember the first moments that I would walk into Vegas, and still to this day, like, especially after coronavirus, like, I'm going to have this moment again where you're just like, oh my God, decadence! You're just like, everything is everything. Like everything is everything. Everything is luxurious. Everything is amazing. I'm so happy they're in Vegas for this moment. And I'm happy that Jovi doesn't just start immediately drinking the minute that he gets there. It is a testimony. It's a sign that he is taking Yara seriously. And I want him to take Yara seriously. And I want to take this baby seriously. I think it's all good. So, but yeah, having said that, oh my God, the next time, and your Vegas can be something else. Like, what is your Vegas? Maybe your Vegas is Disneyland. And I think a lot of people's Vegas is Disneyland. My Vegas is Vegas. Where, the minute I'm like vaccinated and we're like back to reality, I'm just going to roll up like Drake, honey, and just get like a Bellini, like the Bellagio Bellini. Oh my God, blow my mind. Like 5 of them or something, or like a lava flow. And just like, I'm just going to like drown myself and then just like sit in front of like a Wheel of Fortune slot machine and lose it all. Everything. My dignity, everything. I can't wait. And so, because I know that that's exactly what Jovi wants to do, like give or take some things, like maybe his thing isn't a Bellagio Bellini and maybe his thing isn't the Wheel of Fortune slots, but you can insert his own thing there. The fact that he gives that up in this moment makes me happy. Now, whether the next episode he is just like face down in his own vomit, like that's remains to be seen. So, next up, I'm going to talk about Amira and Andrew. Just kidding. They weren't in this episode. Ha 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 ha. But I do have a theory. Okay. This is, what if you were like, what if you just heard that and you were like, I missed a segment? Amira and Andrew, I said this in a clubhouse room, and I've already said this, but if you're joining a YouTube, I'm simultaneously in Clubhouse, and right now there's no one in the room. That's hilarious, and obviously on YouTube, but I'm playing it back and forth. What if Xavier showed up to Amina's like room serviceless room in her hotel and was like, you didn't understand. When I told you not to do it, it's because I've been obsessed with you this whole time. And Amira, if you just like marry me, I will make you VIB Rouge. Sephora, is a French brand. So if you want us to move closer to a Sephora, I'll do whatever it takes. I won't give up these glasses, nor will I give up like this mustache, nor will I give up telling you the truth to your face because, Amira, you need to hear it. But the truth is, Amira, in this moment, I love you. And I've always loved you. I talk about it with your dad all the time. He calls me and he's like, Xavier. And I'm like, Hamid. And we're like, when can we be in the same family? Because you have told Amina that you love him. And I'm like, I love you, Hamid. And he's like, I love you too, son-in-law. Can't wait for you to be my son-in-law. You know, like, oh, I could cry. I mean, I could cry. Oh no. Did I say Amina? That's so funny. I meant Amira. I absolutely meant Amira. You know what? Amina is another Arabic name. And I have a cousin whose name is Elizabeth Amina. So sometimes I get it confused, but it's absolutely Amira. But as you can see, it's only one letter off. So you can see how I did that. So yeah, so we'll see what happens with them on this episode. So next people are going to be, well, should we just get into Natalie and Mike? I mean, we need to talk about it. This Natalie and Mike situation is crazy. Okay. There are two realities, and I will spell them out for you. There are two options, okay? So you have to pick which one, A or B, and you can tell me if I'm off by a variation, A or B, what we're watching. Are we watching a performance by the greatest Russian actress of our life? Because like this is bananas that this happens. And she's recording herself having this breakdown. Like I'm recording myself talking to you doing this. I cannot imagine a world in which like the love of my life and I are like breaking up and I'm just like, how could you do this? No, it's too hard. I'm just like holding the like mic up like horizontally in front of Mike's face as he comes and tries to apologize. Okay, so mullet friend, right? Tamara's her name, is in the car, has the arduous task now of taking Natalie to the town. She's packed up her shit, obviously, like, you know, like, and she hasn't burned the house down with the petrol. Did I say Ukraine? I mean, yeah. Wait, I always forget. Is Natalie from the Ukraine or in Russia? Like, I think Ukraine. So, Tamara, you know, is just like, okay, I'll take her in town. We have not really gotten a good confessional with Mike yet about this whole situation, right? We've gotten Natalie's side. We've gotten her confessional, and then what we don't have is like, for some reason, a cameraman live there, right? So then we get what I'm telling you, which is Natalie holding her iPhone or whatever, like filming this shit going down. That's what we're watching, okay? So if that's what we're watching, it begs the question of like, how real can this be? Like, how can you do this? Like, I can't imagine going through that in that moment and just also doing that. So that's one whole thing. This is where I'm going to get down to breakdown of things. So what happens is Natalie and Tamara, whatever, I can't know why her name, mullet neighbor drive off, right? Drive off. She can't look at Mike. Then the mullet neighbor and her are like, holy fuck, we don't have his credit card, which they need to like get into the hotel for some reason. They have to like have the credit card, I guess, for some reason. So they turn around to go back. And when they do, Mike comes out and is like, I want that ring back. And Natalie's like, absolutely not. And Mike's like, I want that ring back. And she's like, no, I'm keeping it. And I'm going to keep it to remind me of all the pain that you caused. And he's like, so you're going to keep it? And they're like, she's like, yes, immediately. And I'm sorry, I have to get rid of this person. Okay. Okay, so I feel bad like if we're led to believe that Natalie did not know that she was not going to get married until 1 hour before, the day before her wedding, then that's crazy. And I've already said that I think that Mike is somewhat cheap, so I am not surprised that he would ask for the ring back, and I'm 100% not surprised that Natalie didn't give it back. And if I was Natalie, I don't know if I would give it back or not. I think that I would at least have to think about it. Now, this is what makes me crazy. Are you telling me that Natalie did not come to America with any money in her checking account? And why I ask is we're going to be now going into this drama over the hotel and the credit card. If a man did what Mike did to Natalie and I was Natalie, and we're driving off and mullet neighbor is like, we don't have the credit card, I'd be like, just drive. I'll pay for it. And she's like, no, it's already paid for by Mike. I'd be like, that's fine. I still don't care. Good. We're going to go to a different hotel. Like, what I want to say is in coronavirus, in whatever Washington, like, and tell me if this is like my privilege or whatever, but like, I don't want to think that Natalie is going to move to America with not nary a dime to her name, like no savings, like not anything, like, because I think it's like a little bit of an emergency with like, especially how she's breaking down, to just go to a place she feels safe. So the minute that I realized that I would have to go see Mike again, or who insert name the person who broke my heart, I wouldn't. I would just be like, I'll just pay the $200. I can't. No. Right? So so it's like she goes back, obviously, which is a crazy scene. And it's absolutely crazy to have this ring conversation. And it's like really juicy. And that's another reason why I thought maybe it was fake. Like, how could this be so crazy? But then if it is fake, if it's fake, then we're led to believe that the mullet neighbor's in on it, that she's an actor now. Is maybe why like she gets like every 3 lines, it's like her being like, we got to go back. Should I text him? Like, because she would then have to be in on it. And we know that Natalie's an actress. It's just too dramatic to be on a docuseries. And all this footage is being filmed by Natalie, who's crying into camera. Okay. I just like hotels tonight. There were so many options for her not to have to see Mike again. And I know that the ring thing is going to divide a nation. Like, I think it's going to divide the world, like, because I get that she threw the ring back in Mike's face, right? She doesn't give an F about that ring. And Mike's right. She could sell it. Okay. However, having said all that, it's her ring. You gave it to her. You gave it back to her. And obviously, with the most depressing engagement or whatever ceremony, where he was not ceremony, when he just like asked if she wanted to marry him in the most low energetic way possible, that man did that. She gets the ring. I don't know. I mean, she might need it. I mean, I don't understand how she's going to fly to France and she's going to like board the train back. Like, what did Natalie do? I am mad that we have not had a confessional with Mike yet to unpack the situation. That's like they're dragging that because we've seen now a whole episode from her point of view. Literally, she's holding the camera. So, obviously, option A, which is what I'm going back to, it's all fake. Every part of it. Option B, it's all real. And it's the greatest television show of our lives. Now, spoiler alert. Okay, I know I have to do a cast controversies video. I cannot believe I keep talking about it. I am going to do this week. And I can't decide whether I should do it live or whether I should do it filmed or edited recap. I'm sorry, not an edited recap, a filmed cast controversies video. Because one part of a cast controversies video I love is to just have like a really long live where we unpack each story together and I just like don't talk as much as I interact. Then maybe I just do both. And another cast controversies video where I give you all the information with pictures and everything And it's obviously succinct and perhaps funnier than a live. Because if for any reason you're just joining me, and I feel like sometimes I get comments or people, just people know, is that I do this live, just stream of consciousness talking about the episode I just watched without even like thinking about it truly. And then I like think about it and I digest it, honey. And then in like a refilm recap later and I make it funny, like with edited skills and stuff like that. So, and I think both are valuable, and I think that people like both of them. But then in that way also, with the cast controversies, I like hearing you guys immediately tell me things. Plus, because you guys always like educate me. There are things I didn't know about things. Like the same thing is happening on Clubhouse, which no one's in this room. I think I did this wrong, truly. Audio quality low. It's so interesting. Why isn't this working? I'm gonna have Wa come in and tell me. So anyway, I don't know if she's in the room right now. I think that she's just like watching it in LA time. Wa and I, by the way, if you are into this, are going to start doing a streaming pop culture show that will be hosted on her YouTube. We tried it with the Grammys, where we kind of just talk about pop culture topics of the week or whatever and get into it. So that will be on her YouTube. She has obviously more followers than me, and that's just Call Me Wa. So let's move on. So Mike and Natalie, we'll see what happens. It's crazy that, okay, so we have to talk about, when we say we see what happens, we do see the scene where they go to the hotel and for some whatever reason, no one like made any sort of like phone calls to the hotel to like make sure this would be okay. But even though they went back and got Mike's credit card, they can't check into the hotel because your ID doesn't match, your face doesn't match through the credit card. Okay, so I'm trying to really, really think about this. There are ways in which you could pay for someone's hotel, right? Like without you being there. I don't know if you have to call and say that's okay or like, right? I mean, you tell me. I mean, I think so. Having said that, I also just, it goes back to even at, okay, so I'm so sorry. So that's what happens, right? They go to the hotel and we see in the previews, the hotel's like, you can't check in, you don't have the credit card. And they're like, oh my God. And then they have to go all the way back to Mike's house to get his credit. I don't, not to get his credit card, I don't even know, get his ID, get him to like drive. I mean, get him cash, whatever. And so at that point, Natalie, at that point, when you're at the hotel and it's not going to work out with Mike's payment, honey, do you not have a little dough? And I mean, I want Natalie, like Svetlana, whoever you're talking to, like your mom, like as a woman, you're going to be in this world and travel. You are going to travel without not nary a cash. That's too hard for me to think about, period. If you layer on top any of the Natalieisms, like, I'm so much smarter than you, Mike. I'm so much prettier, Mike. I'm high class, Mike. Like, all of that, like, obviously, high class means some sort of like socioeconomic thing, which is like, why do you not have any money? You don't have any money, then you're so high class, like, not nary money, like, no saving, like, I mean, like, no money. And just like a quick 200 so you don't have to like drive back and you can just get away from this monster you think is a monster. I mean, that's one thing. And I know I've already talked about this, but like this is the thing where like Jovi's from last episode that like will be like, okay. Also, if you haven't yet, would you please like this video? I forget that I have to ask, but sometimes it's annoying because you're like in the chat, you're like into it and you're on a mobile device. You're like, how do I even like a video? And it's like you have to literally thumbs it up and you have to exit out of the chat and then come right back in the chat. And that's annoying. And I totally understand that. And just straight up, it helps my algorithm. It just like helps me like get my videos in the feed or whatever. And I know this is annoying to hear, that's like rant or whatever, but it's like, I need to get paid at some point to do what I'm doing right now, which is like some sort of point of view expressing in my life. So, yes. So, okay. We'll see. obviously. We'll see. But yeah, it's hard to imagine a world in which she doesn't have a little cash and why it's not worth it of her to just dip into it. And if it's that she came with nothing, why the hell did that happen, Natalie? Why did you come with nothing? And that means you're not that smart. Obviously means you're not that whatever. Truly, it obviously just means you're not that high class. Only because if we're talking high class means you have $200. I mean, only like class isn't about money. I understand that, but it's about sophistication when it comes to certain things, and financial awareness is somewhat a part of that. $200 just to have one room, to not have to drive back to Mike's. You have the ring now. Just get out. Just get to France. You already have the credit. The flight leaves at 11:45. She's gonna have to be in the airport's international flight by 9. 9, you can do 9:30 or whatever, but in coronavirus 9. And so it's like, just lay your head down at whatever motel for $50. I keep saying $200. I don't even, because I'm just trying to but truly you don't even need to pay that. I mean, I might get comments talking about this class and manners thing, or not, class thing or whatever. And I'm just saying it's just crazy to me that she doesn't have any sort of savings enough to get a hotel room if she's breaking down and doesn't want to see him. I wouldn't want to see him too. It's just too much for me. I would never do it. It's so confusing. I also feel oh, wow. Tell me if you can hear me and everything is right. No one's been in this clubhouse room. You have to text me to tell me that. So we'll move on, because what I just gave you of that last moment is what happens in the preview. And there's really nothing to say. It's just how horrible and sad it is. And I think that, yeah, the internet's going to be divided whether she gets to keep the ring or not keep the ring. And I honestly can't wait to hear what you think, because I think that a lot of people don't like Natalie. And so they're probably she's just going to keep that ring, and she's greedy, and she's never loved him, and she threw it in his face. So why not just give it back now? And I 100% see that side. It's just that I think that she's really upset at Mike. So I think that she's really upset at what he's doing to her. So I don't think that she's gonna make his life I don't think she has to acquiesce to make his life any happier. The truth of the matter is, it's this is a very messy situation. So now, spoiler alert. Well, it's a spoiler alert, but we've talked about this, which is which is, they got married. Now, when we've been hearing that they've got married, what we didn't quite understand is what that meant. And what I mean by they got married is there is a license with a date on it. And I have tried to track down where we are when we see this footage, specifically tonight's footage, of where this happened in mid-April of 2020. To understand, was the license signed the day before the actual ceremony and then he woke up? But no, right? The license, why would she be going back to America if she already was actually married? And so what people are saying is somehow it happens afterward, which then goes back to option 1, or option A, being this all fake. And the mullet neighbor, honey, is I'm the new Meryl. No, I don't know. But that's so interesting, isn't it? I'm fascinated. This is a crazy storyline. So even if it is fake, I appreciate the drama. I appreciate it. Those teary blue eyes just staring at you like two big planets, honey. I'll stay for it. I'll watch it. I am watching it. So, okay, moving on to the next coops, and I want to talk about Tarik and Hazel. So this is one of the things that I've been waiting for. This was a big episode for them, and so this is exactly what happened. Hazel has been feeling like she wants to come out to her parents. Now, I'm real pumped this happened, because I think that the storyline about her and her sexuality, I think, was starting, I mean, had become sort of exploitive, like what woman she was going to pick and the stuff with Minty and whatever. And the making of the app profile before they were even married just felt like it was a little confusing or whatever. And so, um, if if she is going through this, and I'm not saying that she's not, like, her personal journey with her sexuality and understanding that, then at some point, yes, like, she would want to, I guess, be honest with her parents, um, or not. That was a big choice because she could, especially because she's getting married, never let that come to light. I mean, I guess they're gonna watch the show. And she can't say that, I guess, like, with my kid, I would never tell them truly, but I'm on this television show and it's real big, it's real popular, so they might see it. So I had to sort of tell them. And I would really love to be educated on this, on like what you guys thought about this situation. Like, would you have told them? Like, what do you guys think about this scene? We've seen the coming out scene before. I feel like we had Stephanie and Erica's coming out scene to both their parents, which was interesting. And like, obviously Erica's coming out scene was like the cutest and the best. And this one was, it was interesting. Like, I was really happy that it brought Hazel some comfort, and Hazel's parents were, I mean, a little wishy-washy about it. It's like Hazel's mom was like, Absolutely no, and double hell no, and we're gonna pray on it. It's not good." And Hazel's dad's like, If you're happy, it's cool." I mean, right? That's kind of like, oh, okay, great. Okay, so that was the one thing that happened, and then Hazel and Tarik go off. It's the night before they're going to get married, and Hazel gets to have her bachelorette party. And so Hazel has a friend she met on Instagram that is also Filipino and has lived in America for 15 years. But and this is where I'm a little confused. I don't think they've actually ever met in real life because of the distance. And we don't know this person's sexuality at all. Now that's not here nor there. So then we also meet up with Tarik's besties, Angela and Kia. And I thought when he dropped her off that he said his other friend was going to be there too, or I thought he said 3 names, but it ended up being just 2. And Kia's gorgeous, and Angela is, I love me some Angela. So now, okay. Hazel, so one of the things that we've been excited to do is watching Hazel, like, explore this part of her sexuality, and when that's been stunted by the coronavirus, whatever, we've gotten hints of who she would like or who she'd be into, and like those hints were like, I want a brown girl, and Hazel is not the most expressive, so like, we didn't quite know I didn't quite know what that meant. Just brown is like a color, and we just don't know exactly what that meant. Like, I thought it meant maybe like Black or African or just chocolate skin women, or if it meant like just like a tan like another Thai, like a tan Thai lady, like, who knows? I'm not quite sure. But Tarik has gotten Hazel a stripper. Now, I don't know where, honey, you can get a stripper in COVID, but somehow they have laws that they could just like sort of bend. And Hazel just wants like a hot, thick Black lady. And it made me happy. It did make me happy. Because I feel like this was Hazel's episode. She was the most expressive we've ever seen her. Like, she talked the most, the thing with her parents happened, and like, we get to see Hazel, I think for the first time in America, like, enjoy the sexuality of a woman that she's into. Because all we've seen is like her give like a mean, harsh jawline to like Minty Minnie. You know what I'm saying? On like, and like, even though she's been around females, but we haven't gotten to see her like express that part of her sexuality. And so I was just like, so happy. I also feel like I like the fact that Hazel likes a butt. And that butt was good. I love the look of like that cut of underwear, like a G-string, lacy G-string like that. Just like looks so good, like when it cups a bubbly butt, you know? And I know that if I'm appreciating that, Hazel's appreciating that. Ugh, great. Okay, so let's move on. And you're like, oh, is she writing notes? Did she write any notes? You guys must be used to me like going through my Google Docs, but no, I didn't. I wrote some notes, but I haven't looked at them once. Truly, they're not even on my phone. I love you guys so much. So who do I have left? Oh, I have definitely Stephanie. So Stephanie and Harris. Okay. Stephanie has actually in this episode asked more questions about the baby mama than I thought she was going to, because we touched upon the baby mama in the last episode. I'm talking about Harris's baby mama, and Stephanie, I felt like, was only too happy to touch and go that subject, because I think Stephanie is drowning in her own mental problems, challenges, and therefore wouldn't be able to see past the end of her nose to like care about someone else. You know? And so because of that, I don't think that she cares about the baby mama. I still don't think she cares about the baby mama. I think that she's been bringing it up like somehow just to like kind of not have to be in the Harris situation. I'll tell you, Harris is 100% hotter than Ryan. So it's just interesting to me at all that like the Harris thing didn't come in earlier, unless it was a baby mama problem all the time. So Harris, obviously is just like, I want to get to America. It feels like this whole episode to me sort of is like a worser version of Little Mermaid, where Ariel is Harris in this situation, and Harris has 3 days, right? And for Prince Eric to like say Ariel's name, and it's very like kiss the girl, like he's trying to like get all of the situations right to really woo her. Like in this situation, same. And Harris has jumped the hoops or whatever. He like put together that fabulous whatever. I'm sorry, meal, but it was like I pause because I'm like, did they even eat? They just drank that whole bottle of wine. That little sit down situation he set that up. I know the producers did or whatever. But at the same time, like he brought her to the pier and had that romantic moment where he put her at ease and said that he loved her. Stephanie, for all of her craziness, knows that Harris is lying to her. And why I know this for sure is because Stephanie is like,
Oh, Harris, you answer so fast, and sometimes I don't want you to answer so fast.
Basically being like, you'll say whatever you think I want to hear, whatever it is. Yeah. I cannot believe that we still have to hear about this watch, though. This $3,000. It's not a $3,000 watch. Okay. So Stephanie is like, yeah, Harris wants me to redo the K1 visa in his name, and the sex is so great, and yada, yada, yada. And what happens is, I think that Harris gets a little taste of Stephanie's crazy here. What Harris didn't realize is that Stephanie has time in her hands and an iPhone. And she's going to use the iPhone to check every moment of your social media presence. And there's a lot, because you can deep dive. You can really click on the likes of your photos, and then from there find people's profiles, that you might not be able to just like find their name. Like there's just, like there's ways, and if you have like for me, I feel like those moments of like internet sleuthing, like when you have a friend who's like dating someone or you need to know some information quick. I mean, I have seen miracles happen. You can find out anything. And Stephanie has the means to pay for like a $5.95 person search. So Stephanie on Harris's Facebook is like,
Harris, I gotta ask you a question. I went to your Facebook page and I saw since your birthday was only 2 weeks ago and your baby mama was here in this picture. And in the picture, you guys look really happy. You're just holding each other.
shows in the picture. This is rude of me, and I just really need someone to explain. It's hard living where Harris lives, right? And it must be really hard for women. Because why is Harris's baby mama like a person that looks 20 years older than Harris? I mean, now having said that, Stephanie is older than Harris, so I understand that. But like, I guess were you just shocked when you saw? Okay, were you shocked when you saw his baby mama? Were you just like, oh, huh? Oh, she works a lot. She's tired. What she has to put up with 15 years. Why does Harris look like he's 2 years old? How old is Harris? I mean, is he like like sorcerer and like death becomes her? Like, what is he taking? Okay. So that was a crazy situation. Harris is like, oh no, like she's just my baby mama and she just like wants me to have like a good time. It's my birthday. It's totally chill. And Stephanie's like, now look at the way she's looking at you. She's in love with you, whatever. Because she's jealous, and Harris is like, well, she's my baby mama. And Stephanie wants to talk to the baby mama to get the baby mama's blessing. And I was like, no, because what I think is going to happen, obviously, is I think Stephanie's going to try and start to financially give money to her in order to get something from her, which is a feeling of superiority over her and less guilt, or or a way that I'm trying to think, or a way that if she's giving Harris baby mama money, then Harris maybe will then not be able to keep his life so private away from Stephanie. That's all of this is like a theory. And another whole theory is that we're just watching the crazy, trappings of someone who is mentally unstable. And so why are we even talking about this? Maybe she has no designs to ever bring Harris over. Maybe she just wants to get the F out. Maybe she feels like the producers are like held her there to like recover from the flea bites, the sand flea bites. Maybe she's like, I'm done with Belize. I'm going to try some different place and pick up some new dudes. I mean, I don't know, like maybe she, maybe she understands it'd be too messy to actually ever be with Harris, but she really wanted like some companionship. And she felt bad when she realized in a drunken haste that he came to see her and it's like a 10-hour journey. Okay, having said that, I would like some fresh coconut water. Didn't that look good? Okay, so should we talk about Brandon and Julia? Okay, Brandon and Julia. The other theme with Rebecca and Zayed, and Julia, and so in this situation, Julia and Rebecca are ladies that want a nice wedding and are coming to grips with the reality of the coronavirus, which is harsh. It's challenging. And with Julia, it's like, this seems like she's been sitting on some things. Like, obviously, she has been just knee deep in farm animal livestock, and she wants to have something to look forward to, which is a beautiful wedding where she was treated like a princess and she gets to wear a pretty dress and she gets to like look nice and smell nice for like one day, and that's not going to, and so, okay, so that's not going to happen to the degree that she wants to, but then they decide, after Betty and Ron sit them down, to get married as soon as possible. Now, that Betty is so happy that they're moving their date up. Betty ends up getting what she wants, which is to not get married on Mother's Day. And if you tell me that there might be a link between coronavirus and Betty, I would believe it. Because I think that she would stop at nothing to have that Mother's Day be about her. And I know there are people that think that it was in a Wuhan Chinese lab. But I'm saying, have you ever thought about the very real reality that it was on a doomsday sex farm that the virus hit? I bet you didn't. I bet you never thought about that. And listen, a lot of people think that YouTube videos are for some reason truthful and factual. So me laying this out there might be a whole thing. This is another reason why I'm going to have to like delete all my lives at some point, because I think that what I just said could be funny. And then at some point, this is going to get me like killed. So, I have whatever 120 people in this room, and there's probably like, besides the like, and I love you so much, the people that like, there's people that just, I'm sure, listen to me all the time, silent, and just have never said one thing in a chat room to me, or like one comment. And I respect that. Do you? No need to do anything. But for the people that I know, because you've been around this whole time, all I'm telling you guys is that when you see that I delete all these lives, it's because of my mouth, because I think that I'm being funny or dark and funny about something that is like, let me turn against me. Okay. And it's hard, but okay. So Julia then so Betty and Ron are like, get married earlier, and Julia's okay to that. And Betty's like, right, so if that's going to happen, we'll still make it chill. We'll still make it pretty or whatever. And like Julia gets to have a dress. But then, Brandon's boring BF. And he's like, meh, I don't want to do anything. I don't really care about that or whatever. And it's like, that's too much for her, because she's like, I've come to live on this farm, and like what I'm excited about is this wedding, and you are the only person I can even talk about that with, because I'm not like, I don't want to talk about it with Betty, and I can't talk about it with like the donkey, like it doesn't talk back to me, just makes like farts. So I want to talk about it with you, and oh yeah, guess what? It's also your thing. I'm getting married to you. So like, let's talk about it. Yay! And plus she barely gets to talk to anyway. He's like always like, killing the pests underneath the houses. So Brandon's just like really leaning hard into like, weddings are girls' business, and I don't care about weddings. And is like defensive about it, and listen, I guess this is just straight up old-fashioned men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And I think that this must be really, really hard for Julia, because she needs a friend. She needs some, and she needs to have like some support. She needs to have like some female energy behind her that isn't Betty, who's, yes, behind her, literally breathing down her neck all the time, but like someone that like is just a little more chill, I would love to also discuss the fact that okay, wait. Is Aspen gonna go to who's gonna be at this wedding? Because I think I said this before, like, it's gonna be the grandpa and it's gonna be Aspen. And is there any other crazy characters in this life that we've seen? Okay. That, Tarik. Have I talked about everyone? I think I have. Am I wrong? You guys tell me. Yeah, this was like an interesting episode. I remember like last week, like obviously the Natalie thing was like jaw dropping. And I kind of wish that what I kind of thought was going to maybe happen was like if Harris's baby mama had like showed up, I would have died. Like if Stephanie had to come face to face with the baby mama, that would have been a whole other thing. Like, we got this like Ryan called Stephanie thing. It's like Ryan should have come back. Like, like if you were to tell me what I would have wished, like, would you not have loved to see Ryan come back just for the watch and then see Harris there? And it would be like, when Joe Gorga ran like a ram into Joe Giudice on Real Housewives of New Jersey. where it happened so fast, where it was like, oh shit, like later on that episode, there was just black spray paint on people. Like they didn't understand. Like they were so mad, and afterwards they're like, what is this? And it was like Joe Gorga's like fake hair paint. And I loved that moment so much because it's one of the reasons why I will always stay in Real Housewives in New Jersey, because it's like this weird family thing where it's like feels so real. And this moment felt real, and it definitely, because they like came to fisticuffs. But to have that like lighthearted, like, hey, it's my hair, it's my fake Just for Men hairspray, because Joe Gorga, like when he admitted to it, kind of laughed. It felt like that. But I'm sorry, it didn't actually happen, right? This would feel like that. The fantasy I'm telling you about of like having Ryan, right, come back to like Stephanie's resort, see Harris, and just run at him and like them start fighting, like that would have been crazy. And I wish I saw it. And I wonder if the producers tried to have Ryan back, or if they couldn't. Because we don't know exactly what happened with the sexual assault allegations. And by that, I mean, we don't know when she filed them or when TLC knew about them. And by filed them, I'm so sorry, I don't think she actually filed them yet. I think that from what I have read, and I'm going to talk about this in the cast controversy, is very early on in the season, we found, one of the first things we found about Stephanie was that she sued TLC saying that there was a sexual assault situation, which we find out later is the stealthing thing that she ends up accusing Ryan of. But I don't think she actually filed the lawsuit. I think she just like threatened it, or there was like either like a threatening letter, like on a lawyer letterhead or something, but it's not like an active lawsuit or case. So so having said that, I don't know when she, like, I don't know if that played a part in the fact that the producers couldn't get Ryan to come back, or if that was even an option. These are just like all the fantasies, like having him come back. Yeah, like we needed to have the ring thing was pretty intense, to have Mike ask for the ring back and have that awkward conversation. I mean, when that was happening, I wasn't expecting it for some reason. And then I was like, holy shit. I still like, it still takes my breath away a little bit. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking? Are you guys over this season? Are you guys into this season? Are you guys, how many more episodes are we into the season before we're into the tell-all? And also, yeah, like, are they going to lean heavily into Mike's version of events, including his posting confessionals, to let us sew the points together? Because, yeah, like, her saying Mike is weak doesn't exactly like fill in the blanks. Mike is weak. It really feels like, from what we know, that Mike just woke up and was like, I can't do it. And she was like, can't do what? Like, eat the yummy breakfast I'm going to make us? That's questionable, but whatever. I have a cooking show on YouTube, and he's like, no, marry you? One whole theory, I guess, of that, if this is all real. So if you exist in the reality that this is real, then there's another theory of like, what if this was all like a long form game on his part to like get back at her, which then he wouldn't deserve the ring. Why did he think he was gonna get the ring back? That she'd just be upset she would give it back? I think like that she would just throw it back in his face. Oh God. He's weak. When she said that, he's a weak man. Okay, so the ways in which Natalie thinks that he's weak, that he doesn't what? Take care of? I don't know, like, that he's weak around other women, that he's weak around alcohol, that he's weak around red meat, he's weak around a Yelp review around a brewery that's around them when they're visiting the falls. I'm just like, What happened from like him pretending to like stripper moves and them boning to him being like, can't do it. Tomorrow's gonna like drive you to a motel. I can't wait to find out. Even if it's fake, again, it's good. I'll take it. Like, I would rather take this fakeness than like Ashley and Jay. Oh, 100%. I'm so happy I don't have to see them anymore. I don't care one bit about them. Having said that, I don't know if they're like on Discovery Plus and one of like the myriad of Discovery Plus programs. I'm trying to think of like what my favorite, like if like Sharp Entertainment came to me or TLC came to me and was like, okay, create another show in the 90-day world, like help us fill out this juggernaut. Like, what would you like to host? And it would be some sort of like cast controversy, like gossip, like Instagram, like gossip show, because I feel like we need to deep dive into things this way, like a little sleuthing. That's what I would want to do. Oh, baby Nico's mommy, she should keep it back. It was a family ring. Etiquette, if he broke it off, it is up to her. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I mean, if she has really no money, I mean, none, then she should keep the ring. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy to think they're going to drive back from wherever they are before they leave because they need to get another payment. I mean, I want people to finish a sentence. Like, that's so crazy to me. Maybe that's my privilege. She doesn't want to tell her mom. Maybe she's just like doesn't have a credit card that works in America. Maybe she's like the coronavirus thing. I'm like, I don't know how I'm just trying to like, so when you go to Europe, you obviously like you have certain cards that have certain logos that work in certain places. I mean, it's 2020. Like, Natalie, you didn't have like a savings account before you moved just to be like, I need a little safety egg. God. I want this to be a lesson. Like, don't put yourself out there in that way without having some safety. I mean, I don't like to travel without having like some cash on me just as a safety precaution, but definitely not like a whole other country. Um all right, baby boos. I think that I have gone through this whole episode, but I'm going to definitely do an edited recap. And I definitely am going to do a cast controversies video. And I'm excited to do that. And Juan and I are going to do our pop culture stuff. So that's all happening and that's all on the horizon, just like the next episode. And thus the tell-alls and the reunions. We're going to be over Zoom, obviously. And I wonder remember how the first Zoom over the reunions happened and all the footage was released because the Zoom link was released so people could watch it in live? Remember when that happened? That was crazy. All right, my loves. Okay. So all the usuals, if you haven't yet, please like this video. Thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't. Of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at Chris L. Farah. And I always post in my private Facebook group before I go live. And that's Vanity Farah. And, I'm so, I love the people that are in here all the time. And like, you all become my friends, especially the ones in Vanity Farah. I'm always interested in how, if there's new people, how you find me though. I'm trying to lean heavily into posting clips that are like easily like playable on different media sites as well as tweeting during the episode. And so if you find me through that and you want to like tell me, that's interesting to me, just to be like, how the hell are you guys getting here? I don't know how this life works. I really don't. Other than that, yeah, I love you guys so much. And I really appreciate you guys like interacting and talking to me. So this, this show is A, totally great, and I need to talk about it. And B, like, I need to talk about it with people that care and love it. And also C, it's just a crazy time. So I just appreciate you just like in having this energy exchange with me. What else, my booze? Anything else? Okay. I love you. Take care of yourselves and each other. Stand up for what you believe. Make art. Bye.